Path 12. The Magician. The 12th Path of Wisdom connects the Sephiroth of Kether and Binah, and is associated with the Hebrew letter Bet and the Magician card. The Magician card is contrasted against the Fool. Whereas the Fool represents a novice, the Magician represents the adept. The Kabbalah is sometimes explored through path working, which entails contemplating the interconnections between paths and the Sephiroth, or between a series of connections. Within modern occultism, the concept of path working has become associated with guided meditations that were most likely designed to aid a person in understanding the paths. But such meditations have led people to the erroneous conclusion that each Sephiroth or path is a literal place or dimension that they are supposed to astral project one's consciousness into. The Kabbalistic Tree of Life is a diagram, and it's used to organize information so that the mysteries of God might be easier to comprehend. The Sephiroth represents character traits and not other dimensions. Guided meditations may be used to assist a novice in understanding a character trait through imagery, but such meditations are symbolic and should not be taken literally. One cannot astral project his or her mind into a Sephiroth any more than he or she would be able to enter a parallel dimension associated with other personality traits such as self-confidence or joy. Path working refers to contemplating the interconnections among the 32 paths of wisdom in an effort to understanding their relationships. Paths do not need to be examined in a specific order, but can be considered on the basis of any starting point in order to understand how a path or Sephiroth is related to the paths around it. For example, one might explore a path leaving Malkuth and traveling up one of the 3 pillars to observe that each path includes different experiences, but they all lead back to Kether. One system of path working is referred to as the Lightning Path, or the Path of the Flaming Sword. The Lightning Path begins with Kether and proceeds through the Fool card until reaching Malkuth. The path can be followed back from Malkuth to Kether as a reverse pattern, the Path of Mystical Ascent, so that the entire route goes from Kether to Malkuth and back to Kether by starting with the Fool and ending with the Magician. The Fool represents a person at the start of his or her spiritual journey, and the Magician represents someone who has obtained wisdom and is actively serving as an instrument of God. The Magician is dressed in red and white, representing that he has obtained balance between the male and female polarities. Then he or she has undergone the chemical wedding and has become a house of the Holy Spirit, which is why the Hebrew letter Bet is associated with this path. Although the card shows a male figure, as with other elements in the Kabbalah, the image is meant to express an attribute and not a gender. Whether or not a king or queen is shown on a tarot card, it is the characteristics or personality traits that are important and not the gender of the drawing. The Magician has his right hand pointing above and his left hand pointing below, which is a mirror image of the Hebrew letter Aleph and resembles the letter Yod, which has its left side pointing up and its right side pointing down. The Magician serves as God's instrument to manifest the will of the above within the physical world below. On the table, there are magical instruments representing each of the suits of the tarot, symbolizing that the Magician has obtained mastery over each of those aspects of his life. The Magician also represents King Solomon, standing in the Garden of Roses and Lilies, Canticles 2:1, which is a reference to the Song of Solomon and his relationship with the Spirit of Wisdom. The indwelling of the Spirit of Wisdom is what allowed Solomon to obtain wisdom and is symbolic of the chemical wedding that each individual may participate in. Above his head is a sideways 8, which is the symbol of infinity and is another reference to the Ruach Elohim, 8 being a symbol of the Spirit and glory of God. The number of this path, 12, can be calculated as 3, because 1 plus 2 equals 3, which refers to the union of the alchemical substance of sulfur, mercury, and salt. The chemical wedding of the spirit of the wisdom with the soul of the alchemist to manifest their joint will in the physical world through body. This completion also represents the different aspects of the Hebrew letters: the sound, symbol, and value. The suffragette 0 lists the Hebrew letter Bet as one of the 7 double letters, which is associated with the contrast between wisdom and foolishness. Its planetary attribute is the sun, and Levi associates this path with the Father. Of the 7 churches in the book of Revelation, this path most closely aligns with Ephesus and the need to apply discernment within life. The intelligence listed in the 32 paths of wisdom associated with the 12th path is transparent. The text reads, "The 12th path is the intelligence of transparency, because it's the species of magnificence called Chachazet, which is named the place whence issues the visions of those seers in a vision." The magician represents an adept who has become a house for the indwelling spirit, and the spirit provides a window for him to see through the cloud and understand the mysteries of God. Chachazet is interpreted as a person who visualizes, and refers to the magician being able to visualize and manifest his intent, the ability to move a concept from idea through creation and formation, so that it is manifested into reality.